Ladies and gentlemen, please join in rising as we will welcome Her Excellency Dr. Taiwan to enter the room. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please have a round of applause to welcome Her Excellency Dr. Taiwan, President of the Republic of China, Taiwan, to greet the凱達格蘭Forum 2017 Asia-Pacific Security Dialogue. It is a true honor for her to join us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the凱達格蘭Forum 2017 Asia-Pacific Security Dialogue. It is a true honor for us to gather here to talk about issues of mutual concerns. Now, without further ado, let me welcome the host of this particular forum, Dr. Chen Tan-san, Chairman of the Prospect Foundation, to give us his welcome remark. Dr. Chen.
President Tsai, Honorable Vice President Cheney, our Foreign Minister Dr. Lee, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everyone. Good morning. On behalf of the Prospect Foundation, I would like to thank you, all of you, for joining the 2017 Asia-Pacific Security Dialogue. As the security environment in Asia-Pacific changing dramatically, it is especially important that we gather together here. The very intelligent minds to shed light on the complicated geostrategic shift. Also to discuss and point out areas where we would put into efforts for further cooperation and integration. I also want to take this chance to express my appreciation, especially to our Foreign Minister, Dr. Lee, for his support, so that the Prospect Foundation can make this meeting very important event happens and successful. We all know, against the shifting strategic landscape, countries in Asia-Pacific region face not only security, but also profound development challenges. For the past year, North Korea's rapidly developed ballistic missile and nuclear program has imposed greater national security threats to regional countries and the United States as well. On the other hand, China's aggressive military build-up and assertive behavior in East China Sea and the South China Sea also raise concerns and risk accidental crashes that could destabilize the region. So along with China's rising military violence across Taiwan Strait has increasingly tilted toward China. And recently, PLA bombers, as we know, have gained more confidence to show the ability of breaking into the so-called the first island chain for broader strategic presence. Although President Tsai has showed our goodwill to maintain the status quo, China nevertheless has cut off official dialogue and imposed military intimidation by circling their bombers around this island. And as usual, they bragged Taiwan's participation in the international stage. Moreover, China's growing economic power over trading partners also reminds many of its partners to forge a more diversified trading structure. Other than that, pirates and terrorist groups try to build stronghold in southern part of the region. That is more and more an unconventional threat to the region too. And also requires, from our point of view, a much closer cooperation among us. I think it's a necessity as far as we are concerned. Another thing equally challenging with the security environment that we face are countries in the region encounter profound development challenges which require closer and stronger connectivity to make development of our societies more equal and sustainable. President Tsai announced the new southbound policy in the very beginning of her presidency, a little over a year ago. She sees through there are potentials in terms of development of our societies and economies that can be achieved by joint hands of countries in the region. Under her leadership, Taiwan sends the obligation to share our developing experiences, successful, including successful and not successful ones, and to contribute efforts to strengthen the connectivity in the region. I repeat, to strengthen the connectivity. I think the important keyword is the connectivity in the region by first encouraging people-to-people exchange, especially among our youngsters. So with no doubt, there are more we can do and need to do together for more peaceful, prosperous, and equal societies in this region and in the world. So I believe that is the reason why we are here today. So without further ado, once again, I would like to thank you, each one of you, for joining this very meaningful event and wish today's conference a very successful one. Thank you again. Thank you again. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman Chen. As Chairman Chen has mentioned the importance of cooperation and connectivity, it is impossible for us to hold such an important event without strong support from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, without further ado, please welcome His Honorable Dr. David Dawei, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to give us his welcome remarks.
Your Excellency President Tsai Ing-wen, Your Excellency Vice President Dick Cheney, Chairman Chen Tangshan of the Prospect Foundation, Excellencies, ambassadors, and honorable representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with great honor and pleasure to be here this morning for the opening of the 2017 Asia-Pacific Security Dialogue. I would like to thank Chairman Chen and his colleagues at the Prospect Foundation for making this event possible. And would also like to extend my utmost gratitude to our true and loyal friend, Vice President Cheney, for traveling across the U.S. continent and the Pacific to lend us his experience and wisdom on the U.S.-Taiwan partnership, as well as other important regional and global issues. A very warm welcome is also in place for all the participants today. Your involvement in this event manifests a common concern for peace and prosperity in the Asia-Pacific region. Today's dialogue marks the inauguration of a new forum on Asia-Pacific security. The key topics include regional security, maritime security, and the regional economic integration, each of which has a profound influence upon the political stability and economic development of countries throughout the region. And the rapidly changing global environment and the proliferation of traditional and non-traditional security challenges, Taiwan has always been prepared to play her role in the maintenance of peace, security, and prosperity in the Asia-Pacific region. As we look to enhance cooperation and exchanges with like-minded countries such as the United States, Japan, the EU member states, and others. We are also advancing comprehensive relationship with partners in South and Southeast Asia, as well as Australia. As this afternoon's roundtable discussion focuses on the new southbound policy, we look forward to the outcome of these discussions, which will form valuable recommendations and references as we implement this policy. While I travel the world carrying out my duty as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I've always been marveled by seeing how Taiwan's experience in areas such as environmental protection, public health and medicine, agriculture, education, and information and communication technology have assisted our allies to advance in these aspects. Taiwan has always strived to fulfill its duties as a responsible member of the international community and to contribute towards the issue of global importance. We are committed to continue our interaction and cooperation with our friends and allies, seeking mutually beneficial collaborations to maintain global peace, security, and prosperity. Under the leadership of President Tsai Ing-wen, we are practicing steadfast diplomacy, which is pragmatic and humanitarian in nature. And with your support, we will continue our endeavor to bring Taiwan closer to the world and the world closer to Taiwan. Ladies and gentlemen, as we wish the 2017 Asia-Pacific Security Dialogue a great success, we also wish for the peace and prosperity in this region, and the very best of health and happiness to everyone here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. David Lee, Minister of Foreign Affairs. It is who Ministry of Foreign Affairs has always been a strong supporter for the Prospect Foundation. But as we have said, nothing can be done singly, but even with cooperation and connectivity, we can accomplish without a strong leadership. And that is why it is our honor to have Her Excellency Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, President of the Republic of China, Taiwan, to greet this forum and give us his welcome remarks.
Prospect Foundation Chairman Mark Chan, Foreign Minister David Lee, and honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We have our former Vice President Anna Lu here as well. Before I begin, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to the former Vice President of the United States, Mr. Dick Cheney. Could we all give him a round of applause? Thank you for coming. Few people may remember this, but back in 1979, having just been elected as a young congressman from Wyoming, Mr. Cheney cast an important vote in favor of the Taiwan Relations Act. This act has not only endured, but is today one of the most critical pieces of legislation shaping U.S. relations with Taiwan. It is therefore particularly meaningful to be able to meet Mr. Cheney here in a democracy that might not have been possible without this prior support. Taiwan Relations Act is a good reminder of how actions can have profound consequences. The sense of collective security it created contributed to the development of freedom and democracy in Taiwan. It provided Taiwan with the confidence to choose its own path and play a more proactive role in the region. It also formed the basis of remarkable relationship we have today with the United States. Similarly, we must acknowledge that the actions that we take today will shape the development of the region in the decades to come. For the past half-century, the Asia-Pacific has witnessed unprecedented economic growth and advancement. Countries that were once in need of foreign aid, such as Taiwan, have become prosperous at an unprecedented speed in human history. But as countries become more affluent, they must also deal with emerging challenges and new responsibilities. Today, regional tensions are intensifying. Growing political differences have narrowed the space for deliberation and compromise. Even the technology which has connected and empowered billions around the world has given rise to new threats in cybersecurity and cyber warfare. It has allowed false information to proliferate around society, causing alarms and undermining people's trust in government. All of this has led countries to reassess their path forward. So today, I want to briefly share with you the decisions that Taiwan has made to ensure that we continue to be a contributor to peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific. The first is recognition that in an interconnected world, Taiwan must play an even more proactive role in the region to help shape its growth. Over the decades, we have seen countries across Asia, Pacific, increasingly look towards one another to build strong trade, defense, and people-to-people relations. ASEAN, now in its 50th anniversary, is an exemplar to this. So are the growing linkages between Japan and the South Asia, as well as Southeast Asia, which have seen tremendous progress over the past few years. Now, our new southbound policy acknowledges that Taiwan cannot be idly sit on the sidelines as the process takes place. The policy is not just about encouraging short-term trade and investment. It is about looking at the longer-term needs, whether in terms of talent cultivation or complementarity in trade, in order to make investments that are both smart and relevant. For example, we have expanded Taiwan's capacity to train the human resources needed for emerging countries. Already, around 1,200 Indian students are currently studying in the country, while about 5,000 students from New Southbound policy countries will receive sponsorships from Taiwan enterprises to attend local educational institutions this year. Altogether, we have now about 31,000 students from New Southbound policy countries studying in Taiwan today. On the development of markets, Taiwan has the know-how, particularly of small and medium-sized enterprises, to help countries take advantages of new opportunities and unlock market potentials. We have also announced policies and take measures from relaxing visa restrictions to creating a more Muslim-friendly environment. This has already led to enormous growth in tourism, and it will further consolidate the robust linkages between the people of Taiwan and the new southbound countries. All of these efforts not only strengthen Taiwan's relations with its neighbors, but they also help ensure Taiwan's role in the growing Asia-Pacific community. We have also focused on building stronger relations with the US, Japan, and other like-minded countries that have been long-term stakeholders in the peace and security and stability in the region. We have actively sought out new exchanges in trade and investment, security, cybersecurity, global health, green energy, and other areas of mutual interest. This has led to an increase in both the number and the substance of discussions in forums, such as today. We'll also continue to actively promote trade and investment through both bilateral and multilateral arrangements. The TPP, despite the exits of the United States, is still one of the priorities for Taiwan. While we are doing all of this to serve Taiwan's strategic interests, we also believe that the international community benefits when Taiwan and our values feature more prominently around the world. Now, turning to the issue of security. We believe maintaining a regional order benefits all the countries in the region. Therefore, when the security and order of the region are under threat, Taiwan shares a responsibility to uphold the existing framework. This is particularly important at a time when international efforts to resolve the North Korean crisis have failed to produce results. Taiwan has helped implement economic sanctions on North Korea as a responsible member of the international community. The government here has stepped up investigations into money laundering and shipments going to North Korea. In short, we are committed to working with our partners on a coordinated response to the instability in the Korean Peninsula. The South China Sea is another flashpoint that has the potential to embroil countries into a regional conflict. Taiwan has control over Taiping, the largest natural island in the South China Sea. 5 other countries also hold competing claims in the area, a situation that makes any amicable solution difficult and highly unlikely. But instead of using Taiping Island as a base for expansion and aggression, Taiwan will continue to use it for research and humanitarian purposes. For example, last November, our Coast Guard staged a humanitarian rescue exercise to strengthen its capabilities in medical evacuation and maritime search and rescue efforts. We have also invited scientists from across the region to engage in maritime and climate-based research at the facilities on Taiping Island. Despite our exclusion from the South China Sea Regional Dialogue, Taiwan will nevertheless continue to safeguard freedom of navigation and overflight in the area. The third issue I'd like to talk about is cross-strait relations. We recognize the continued interest of the international community, as well as both sides of the Taiwan Strait, has in peaceful and stable cross-strait relations. My administration remains fully committed to maintaining the status quo. However, this cannot be achieved by just one side alone. It takes goodwill and cooperation from both sides, while keeping in mind our shared interests in prosperity and regional development. We hope that both sides of the Taiwan Strait can work on a new model for cross-strait interactions that benefits the stability and prosperity of both sides and the region as a whole. In conclusion, I would like to point out that Taiwan's location at the crossroads between Northeast and Southeast Asia, and between continental Asia and the Pacific Ocean, dictates that Taiwan will always have a role in the maintenance of peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific. Taiwan is fully committed to this role. This commitment is based on our belief in democracy, freedom, and the rule of law. It is also based on the acknowledgement that growth and prosperity cannot take place in an unstable and insecure region. With this in mind, I hope that the actions and policies we're taking will reinforce Taiwan's relations with its neighbors and the international community in the decades to come. I trust that as we engage in the critical discussions today, this event will foster the debates and ideas to collectively further the Asia-Pacific's security, stability, and prosperity in the future. Finally, I wish the forum every success and our distinguished guests a lovely stay in Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you, Her Excellency President Tsai, to have her welcome remarks. I think President Tsai has given us a really hard task as we finish through today's conference, as she has pointed out what Taiwan can do, could do, has done, in terms of focusing on the regional security issues. And it is an honor to have her words and inspired by her thoughts that as we proceed to today's following conferences. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise, as unfortunately President Tsai won't be able to join us. Please join me in giving Her Excellency President Tsai a round of applause and thank her for greeting this particular conference. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also an honor to have Honorable Dick Cheney, former Vice President of the United States, to act as our keynote speaker for the luncheon. So please stay around as we will have our luncheon right at 12:50. Now the conference will go into a short break, as we will take a break and come back at 9:45 as we will reset the stage for our first session of this particular panel. There are coffees and snacks outside, so if you didn't have your breakfast before you came here, please enjoy yourself. Thank you. We will reconvene at 9:45.